So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing the Indian Express newspaper as usual. Okay, so let's start our discussion over here. And for the next few days, we will be coming live at you can say 11:30. So you can keep your schedule accordingly. So let's start our discussion over here. Now here you can see the Navaratna status. Navaratna status, when we talk about the central sector enterprises etc. and the other big enterprises which are there. So in that they are categorizing it in different forms, that there is this mini ratna, okay, there is Navaratna. So like that there are three categories. So we will be talking about the three categories. We will also see that what are the criteria for that and why these categories are important. Recently the IRCTC, you know that when we talk about the Indian Railway, we have IRCTC, and then coming to the next one, that is IRFC. Okay, so these are some of the enterprises which has recently been given the Navaratna status. So we will be talking about that. Then what is solar Maximus? Now sun has cycles. When we talk about the kind of ejection from the sun happens, like the kind of energy it emits. Okay, now there are cycles in which sun emits the maximum energy, then it will go for the lower ones. So when we talk about the maximum energy cycle, that is called as the solar maximum. We will be talking about that. We will see why the space agency track this solar cycle and why is that right now they are sending more satellites towards sun. Okay, so that is something which we will be discussing, and after that we will be moving to the next one, that is the financing the CPSE, Central Public Sector Enterprises, when we talk about. So here we will be talking about that. Now when we talk about Navaratna status etc., that can be there for any kind of industry if it is big and all. So we will be seeing that as well, like what are the criteria, we will be considering that, and then we will be going through these important articles. Other than that, we will also discuss one more article over here with respect to the US and India's trade. Okay, so we will be talking about that. Here you can see PYQ of the day. We will be discussing one PYQ and then geography through map. Here we will try to understand the plateaus of the world or the highlands of the world. Okay, and why? Because in the PYQ here we will be discussing about these highlands, 2 or 3 names will be there. So I thought that we will be going through other ones as well. Okay, so for your own read, there will be one article which we have already discussed about delimitation commission. Okay, so we have done that already. So if you have not attended that particular lecture, so you can go through the thumbnail and you can see that we have discussed the delimitation. You can watch that, otherwise you can just read this particular article. Okay, in the end there will be practice question, we will be discussing on that. Now let's start with the first thing, that is PYQ of the day here. So which one of the following pair is correctly matched? Geographical features, and then regions are given in front of that. Abyssinian plateaus. Okay, Abyssinian plains or the plateaus, when we talk about, these are there in Africa. Okay, so that's gone. Coming to the next one, Atlas Mountains. Okay, Atlas Mountain, northwestern Africa, they are saying. So we'll be seeing that when we talk about the African continent, it looks something like this. Okay, like this, and then there will be Horn of Africa, and then it will be like this. Okay, so here we have Atlas Mountains. Okay, so this is correct. Now if this is correct, that means that other two are wrong. Okay, we have Guiana highlands and then the Okavango basin. So let's see what happens over here, where they are located. Okavango basin is also located in the African region. Okay, so we'll be seeing that. Then Guiana, obviously that is also there. Now here let's see. So here you can see Abyssinian plateau, that is there in the Ethiopia, that is in Africa. Here you can see this is your Ethiopia, and here this particular part, it is also called as the Ethiopian plateau. Okay, Ethiopian plateau or the Abyssinian plateau. So that is there. Coming to the next one over here, Atlas Mountains. When we discuss the mountain ranges of the world, where we have discussed the, you can say Atlas Mountain as well, that is there in Africa, north western Africa. We have just seen on the drawn map over here. Then coming to the next one, Guiana highlands, that is there in North America, when northern part of the South American continent. Okay, northern part of the South American continent. So that is something you should remember. So here you can see it is there in the region in the northern South America, where Brazil, Guyana and the Venezuela meet at the Mount Roraima. Okay, Roraima. You don't have to remember this particular name. If you can remember, that's well and good, otherwise it's all right. Okay, then next is Okavango river basin, that is there in the southern part of Africa. Here you can see on this particular map, see this is your Okavango river, and this particular part is your Okavango basin, and this is your Africa. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now coming to the next part, here in Important, you can say, the highlands or the plateaus has been given over here. What we know is that which are over here, we know that there is this Deccan plateau, we know that there is this Tibetan plateau which is there. Okay, then you will be seeing that there is Mongolian highlands which are there. There is Yunnan province which is there in you can say China, that is also a plateau. Okay, then we have Shan, that is also a plateau. Okay, Australian plateau is there. Ethiopian plateau, we just saw that Abyssinian plateau or the Ethiopian plateau. South African plateau is also there. Okay, here you can see this is your Brazilian plateau. Okay, so that is your Brazilian plateau. This portion is your Arabian plateau. Okay, then Antiplano, this is Antiplano. Patagonian plateau which is over here. When we come to USA, here you can see Columbia plateau is there. Then this is Colorado plateau which is over here. Central Mexican plateau is there. Piedmont is there. Okay, Appalachians we know already. Then here Laurentian plateau which is over here. Okay, now coming to this particular portion of Europe, there are not many, but there are two small, that is Central Massif and the Meseta plateau, that is there in the Iberian Peninsula. Okay, so this is about the plateaus of the world. Here Central Russian uplands which are there, Siberian plains are there. These are plains and not plateau. Okay, coming to the next one, Central Siberian plateau, this is there. So these are the part of world where we find the plateaus which we have discussed. So these names can be important, they can ask you about these things. Okay, now let's move further. Before that, I would like to tell you that now I told you already that Drishti IAS on the Holi, we have bought this particular gift for you, and that is we are offering you 60% less prices on the all online courses, and for the books and test series we will be offering 40% less prices. Now what is important part over here is that this is the biggest sale we have bought in history of Drishti IAS. So basically you can say this is your golden chance, you can go and avail the offer. Other than that, this particular offer will be valid from today, that is 5th of March to 12th of March. Don't wait, just go and you can avail your offer over here. You can download the Drishti Learning app, or you can call us on 87501. You can go check out the courses and you can take whatever is convenient for you. One more thing over here, you will be finding various courses over here. We are having this ISGS foundation course. Okay, now here you will be seeing that in this particular sale at 60% less prices, what you are getting, I'm telling you that you will be having the best faculty, India's best faculty, I would say. Okay, best faculty will be there for your lectures. And then when we talk about these lectures, okay, these lectures are downloadable in app. These lectures will be downloaded, so you can you will be requiring net for the one time. You can download the lecture in the app, and then you can use that when you don't have the internet. Okay, so for the to open the app, you will be requiring the net. You can download and you can watch it as your own convenience, as per your convenience. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, what will be there is that you can watch these lectures again and again, so unlimited time you can watch these lectures. Okay, so this is something. And other than that, one more important factor, when you go for the preparation, you have to wait for the lecture. Okay, when we talk about this time, you will be getting all these lecture at one point of time. So when you purchase the app, purchase the course, you will be getting the lectures with that. Okay, so this is about ISGS foundation course. Offer is limited from 5th of March to 12th of March. You can download the Drishti Learning app, or you can call us on 87501 for any kind of query. Okay, now let's move further and coming back to our discussion. Now this is important because when we talk about our preparation, that is important, that affordability is a important area where everyone is looking for the best prices. So we are getting you best prices. Anyways, now coming to the next part, that is your what does Navaratna status for IRCTC and IRFC mean. Okay, now what it means for these two companies, that does not matter for us. Okay, what matters for us is that what is Navaratna status, what can be the benefit, and which department has given this particular status. So here you can say Department of the Public Enterprise of the Ministry of Finance. Okay, they have picked the CPSE for Navaratna status. Okay, so what they will be considered, they will be considering that ratio of net profit to net worth, that is one thing. Ratio of manpower cost to the total cost of the production or the service. Ratio of profit before the depreciation, interest, and the tax when we talk about to the capital employed or the return on the capital employed. So basically what they are saying is that they will be going for a ratio where they will be taking the ratio of the profit before all these elements, that is depreciation, interest and all, and divided by, that is the total capital which has been employed over there. Okay, so that is their earning per share, and ratio of profit before this tax and interest we have seen to the turnover. So they will be going for the profit by profit by the capital, that is one ratio they will be seeing. Second, they will be seeing the profit per turnover. Okay, so that is also one of the ratio they will be seeing. Okay, other than that, ratio of net profit to the net worth, ratio of manpower as well. Okay, so that is their inter-sectoral performances of the company that will also be seen. So there will be 6 indicators on which they have given this particular status. Okay, now let's see what is Navaratna you can say status and all. Here IRCTC, and this is the news basically, IRCTC and IRFC has got the Navaratna status. Now center has granted Navaratna status to IRCTC, IRFC, making them 25th and the 26th Navaratna CPSE in India. All 7 listed CPSEs of Indian Railway are now having the Navaratna status. That is something which you could remember. Okay, out of you can say 12 CPSEs. Okay, now let's come to the next point, that is what are the criteria for Navaratna, Maharatna, etc. Okay, so the 3 categories are there. One is Mini Ratna, second is Navaratna, third is Maharatna. Okay, so let's start with the Mini Ratna. So if there is a you can say company, hold on. Okay, so if there is a company, okay, Mini Ratna, what it requires to be a Mini Ratna company. So here you can say made profit in the last 3 years continuously. In the last 3 years that has gone for the profit continuously. Pre-tax profit is 30 crore or more in at least one of the 3 years. What they are saying is that let for like 3 years they will be having this pre-tax profit, that is 30 crore, and out of 3 years the one can be having more of that. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, having positive net worth status. Okay, so that is another thing. Now when we talk about the Mini Ratna categories, there are 2 categories. One is your category 1, then second is your category 2. Okay, now in the category 2 you will be seeing that same past 3 years you should have the profit, that is there. Then having positive net worth rate, that is also there, that is the same condition which is there. Not defaulted in the repayment of the loans, interest payment or any loans during the due to the government. So basically there is no default on the loans or no loans is pending to the government. Then not dependent upon the budgetary support or the government guarantee. So basically this is the category 2, which is saying that the particular company is not dependent on the government budget. They are having their own, or you can say their own worth or their own profit is running the company, that is there. There is no default or no loans which is due to that. So that is about category 1 and category 2. In the category 1 these 2 conditions are not there. In the category 2 it is there. Okay, coming to the next one, that is Navaratna status. Now those companies who has been the Mini Ratna companies, okay, be it category 1. Okay, now these companies will or they are eligible for the, you can say, Navaratna status, that is Mini Ratna category 1 or schedule A CPSE. That is one condition which is there. Coming to the next one, excellent or very good rating in 3 of the last 5 years. Okay, here they have taken the 3 years. Now here if in the last 5 years that is having good rating in the last 3 years, that will be you can say sufficient over here. So good rating in 3 of the last 5 years. Then composite score of 60 or above in the following 6 performance indicators, which we have already seen that there are performance indicators: net profit to the net worth, cost of services, earning per share, etc., which we have seen. There are 6 categories. Okay, so that is for the Navaratna status. We have seen the 6 categories that is there over here. Then coming to the next one, Maharatna company, that shall be a Navaratna company, that if a company is Navaratna company performing better, that can be elevated to the Maharatna status, that is there, listed on the Indian Stock Exchange. That is also another, you can say, requirement which is there. Then average annual turnover is nearly 25,000 crores. Okay, for the last 3 years, that is more than 25,000 crores. Okay, not nearly, that is more than 25,000 crores. Average annual net worth is more than 15,000 crores for the last 3 years. So that is also there. Average annual net profit after tax, that should be more than 5,000 crores for last 3 years, and then significant global presence and the international operation should be there. So you can see that when we talk about the Mini Ratna companies, so there is very not very much criteria are there. That is there, if a company is having pre-tax that is pre-profit tax, that is 30 crore rupees, that will be Mini Ratna category 1. Then coming to the next one, that is your Mini Ratna category 2, wherein you will be having the same condition, that is your 30 crore plus you will not have any loan and you are not dependent on the government or the budgetary support. Okay. Then this particular you can say, when we talk about Navaratna status, so we will be seeing that the Mini Ratna status, if a company is holding and then they are doing better and they are having better good rating for 3 years out of 5 years, then that will be eligible for that. And then there are 6 indicators on which Navaratna company will be you can say checked. And then after that, if a company is Navaratna company and having a turnover which is more than you can say 25,000 crore and having an annual net worth that is 15,000, more than 15,000 crores, and annual net profit more than 5,000 crores, that will be considered as the Maharatna company. So this is about the different you can say categories of the companies over here. Now benefits of the Navaratna company, here some benefits are there, that they can invest up to rupees 1,000 crores in the project without government approval. Okay, so they can go for that. Coming to the next one, greater financial and the operational autonomy, can form joint ventures, subsidiaries and the mergers independently. Improved ability to expand globally and the compete with the private sectors, and increase attractiveness to the investors and the private stakeholders. So this is about your you can say Navaratna benefits. Okay, now we can move further to the next one, that is the solar Maximus. Okay, what is solar Maximus? As I told you, sun time to time will be you can say emitting particular kind of energies and the masses. Okay, now after 11 years there will be a cycle. Sun has a cycle of 11 years, so there will be a cycle wherein sun will be emitting more energy. When sun is emitting the maximum energy, that is solar Maximus. Okay, so let's see. Over here you can see why space agencies want to make the most of the solar Maximus. Okay, why is that? That is important for the space agencies. So let's see. And here, what is solar Maximus? Solar Maximus is the peak of the sun's 11-year solar cycle, when the sun is most active. During this time, the sun emits more energy, light, and the solar radiations has more sunspots. That is basically a solar Maximus. Here you can see this is normal time and this is the solar Maximus where you will be having these sunspots. Okay, so that is about it. Now see, these are the when we talk about the energy and the mass ejections, these are the mass ejections. Okay, see in the corona you will be seeing that like this, these masses will be coming out. These with the solar winds will move towards the earth and the other you can say celestial bodies. So that is there. Here you can see. Okay, now this is our earth. Now here you can say earth has a magnetic field, and here you will be seeing that this is how you will be getting all the magnetism and all. So these solar winds are basically having a curvature. They will move towards the, or they will be influenced by the magnetic field that is there. They might have a possibility that they will influence with you can say interact with the magnetic field, and those orbits or the satellites which are there, that will impact the satellites and the communication as well. So that is about the you can say the solar flare or the solar mass when we talk about the ejections etc., that is basically from the corona. Now I have taken this picture just to tell you that this is how they will interact with the earth's magnetic field, and this is how it will be important for us to study these things as well. Now with that, if you are studying the solar winds etc., you will be knowing about the internal structure of the sun. Okay, space agencies want to make the most of the solar Maximus. What is solar cycle? I have already told you. The sun has the magnetic field and it reverses after every 11 years. That is the 11-year cycle which is there, known as the solar cycle. The cycle influences the solar activity, indulging in the sunspots and the solar storms. So that is there, every 11 years there will be a peak which will be there, and that is called as the solar cycle. And here that is because of the magnetic cycle of the sun. Then why are so many missions being launched now? Now sun is currently nearing the solar Maximus, a period of the peak solar activity. This phase is the best time for the scientists to study the sun, as it emits more radiations than the particle. Since particles are emitted more, so we will be going for the you can say you will be getting more idea from the internal structure of the sun. Then next, intense solar activity may not occur until 2530 to 36. So for like 10 years, 10 to 11 years, it might not happen, and that is why they have to wait for it. So that is the time they are sending more and more satellites right now. So that is the crucial window for the scientists, so that they can understand the you can say sun and the internal structure of the sun. So that is why they are trying to get the best out of the solar Maximus. Okay, now here Key solar missions launched since 2023. Here, Aditya L1. You must be aware about this. This is India's ISRO's mission, which is there. India's first solar mission, September 2nd, 2023, studying the solar flares and the winds. Then coming to the next one, that is Proba 3. This is of you can say European Space Agency. Okay, so this is from the ESA, launched on the December 4th, 2024, to study the solar winds and storms. So again, you will be saying that we are studying the solar winds and the storm. We are also when we talk about the European Space Agency, they are also studying the same thing. Why? Because that is the only source. We cannot go too close to the sun. So that is why we are reliant on the flares and the winds. Okay. Then there is this punch, that is from NASA. Okay, a unique mission to study sun's outer corona, launching March 6th, 2025. Okay, so that is there. We will be seeing that if they are successful or not. Then coming to the next one, these missions aims to improve the understanding of the solar storms and their impact on the Earth's communication and the power systems, which I told you with this diagram. My intention was to tell you that since these solar winds are interacting with the magnetic field over here, and the communication and the satellites will also get impacted by that. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you with this particular diagram. Now coming to the next part, that is why Trump's tariff on the Canada Mexico raised questions about India's trade deal. Okay, now let's see what is that meant by this particular, you can say, article over here. We know that on Mexico, Canada and China, USA has gone for some kind of putting some kind of tariffs. Okay, and why is that? Simple reason is that USA is being protectionist. That is one thing. Other than that, in the last term also, America first policy was there, that is of Mr. Trump. Now, considering that, we are saying that USA has actually broken the promises which has been done through the agreement, or otherwise also USA has gone out of the WHO, USA has gone out of the Paris Agreement earlier as well. Okay, so that is the, you can say, concern that USA is not being following their whatever agreement they have done. So what kind of impact it will have on a deal which India and USA will go for. Okay, so let's see. US tariff on the Canada and Mexico. 10% on the energy imports, 25% on the other goods. That is not important for us to remember. This is just the news. That is why I am telling you. Violates the US Mexico Canada agreement which was there. Okay, so that one, they have violated this. That indicates USA disregards the trade agreements and the WTO norm. Okay, so that is what they are saying, that the USA is disregarding the obligations. Okay, impact on India. India negotiating a trade deal with USA. We are having concerns that they might not even honor this particular deal as well. Okay, so that is the concern. That is why we are taking this article, because this will be impacting India's interest as well. Now, USA's stand on the WTO. When we talk about the World Trade Organization, they are having their rules, and they are saying that the market, the trade should be on the market economy principle. Okay, so that is there. USA criticizes WTO for allowing developing nations like India benefit under special and the differential treatment. Okay, what is special and the differential treatment? There are various countries like developing countries, etc. They are given special privileges. Okay, now this is a self-declaratory norms wherein a country should say that we are developing in nature. Okay, India says that we are developing country in the nature, and considering that they will be eligible for some of the privileges over there, or the concessions over there. Okay, so here you can see WTO agreement contains special provisions which gave developing countries special rights and allow other members to treat them more favorably. Okay, so this is what USA's concern is, that the countries are saying that they are developing countries, they are self-proclamating themselves as you can say developing countries, and they are taking benefits. Okay, so that is one concern they have. So calls for reforms as the countries self-declare as the developed and gain trade advantages. Okay, that is what USA's concern is, that no review of China's economy. Now, when we talk about the China's economy, WTO says that there should be a market economy principle which should be followed, that market will control the, you can say, prices, etc., etc. Okay, so now here when we talk about USA, you know that when we talk about China, you know that they are following non-market economy rules, because wherever they want to intervene, they intervene in their economy over there. Okay, so kind of economy is controlled over there. So that is why USA has this particular problem, that USA criticized WTO for not addressing China's non-market economy policies over there, which is affecting the fair trade. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is basically saying is that the India's tariffs on the US goods. US may demand India to cut tariffs, open procurement and the reduced trade restrictions. So basically they are saying that you can USA might ask you to open the market for them and go for cut in the tariffs, etc., and open procurement should be there and reduce trade restrictions. That is what USA might demand. Okay, India may offer a 0 for 0 trade deal, 0 for 0 tariff deal, that is basically on the industrial goods while keeping the agriculture protected. So they can go for the industrial goods here, that 0 for 0 means that we will not put any tariff, you will not put any tariff. Okay, so that is there. Otherwise, that can also be a stand where they can go for the reciprocal tariffing, that can also be there. Okay, but that would be beneficial for the industry only, because if they go for 0 for 0 tariffs for agriculture goods, our agriculture is not very mechanized, and that is why our agriculture goods are not very cheap. Okay, they are not very competitive in nature. Now considering that if we open our market, agriculture market for USA, what happens is that USA will flood the agriculture products in India's economy. Okay, that will harm the India's agriculture. So that is what the idea over here is, that they can go for the 0 for 0 tariff deal on industry and not agriculture. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now let's move further to the next one, that is CPEC rely on budgetary supports. Okay, what is the timing of the class? Earlier it was 10:30, but now we have shifted to 11:30. Okay, so that is what it is. I have told you this in the starting also, so we will be starting like that. Okay, now see, CPSE rely on the budgetary supports, less on its own resources and the private capital. Now from this article, what is important is that trade. In the last few years, you can see that the CPEC's budgeting support has been declining from 6.2 to 3.82 has gone there, and recently what we are estimating is that in 25-26 it will be 4.32%. Okay, so that will be an increase, but in the last few years it has declined. But the thing is, still CPSEs are relying on the budgetary support, okay, and not on their own resources. Now let's see what is happening over here. Public sector enterprises plays a crucial role in the India's economic growth, infrastructure development and the employment generation. That is there. Coming to the next one, a trend of increasing budgetary support. A trend of increasing budgetary support for the CPSE while reducing the reliance on internal and the private capital has raised concern. Now earlier that was declining, but now what is happening is that now it will be increasing over here. Let's see. Here it was 3.82, and in the next year it might go up upside, that is 4.3%. Now that is why it can be a concern, because they are mostly relying on these supports, and then now you are increasing the support as well. Okay, so that is something which is a concern for that. Now let's see. Increasing dependence on the budgetary supports. Government equity and the loan to the CPSE doubled its size since financial year 20. Okay, and then budgetary support rose 150% from 2.1 lakh crore to over here. Let's see. So when we are talking about this over here, that these are IBER data. So when we are talking about the support, or you can say when we are saying is that the CPECs are relying more on the budgetary support. Okay, so that will be we will be seeing that what is happening over here. You can go through this particular article over here. Some of the data that cannot be important for us, so you don't worry about that. Just know what is the trend over here. We will be discussing the trend as well. Let's see. The government equity and the loans to the CPSE doubled since financial year 20. Budgetary support rose from 150% from 2.1 lakh crore in 2019-20 to 5.48 lakh crore in 2024. That they are saying is that budgetary support is increasing. That graph is not of the budgetary support. I'm sorry, I might have mistaken over here. So that is there. Now let's see. What they are saying is that the budgetary support is increasing. That was the concern. Obviously, we are saying is that they are relying more on the budgetary support, and that is what we are discussing right now. Raises concern over the fiscal burden and the sustainability. Fiscal burden, that means that the government's borrowing is increasing, or the government is giving, you can say, the support. So government has to spend more. Okay, and whatever government spending is there, that is their fiscal policy. Okay, so concern over the financial autonomy of the CPEC. So merger and the acquisition, if you talk about, reduces the cash reserves, affecting the financial independence. So if you are dependent on the, you can say, budget, or if you are going for the mergers, etc., and because of which what will happen is that is reducing your cash reserves, and ultimately you are financially dependent on the budget. Okay. Then coming to the next one, PSU struggle to raise fresh capital due to the declining reserves and increased government control. So if the government's control is increasing, then also they will be having lesser autonomy, and considering that they are struggling with the raising the fresh capital. Coming to the next one, implication of the economy and the making. Now here if you are talking about this, that how the government's control is leading to the less of, you can say, raising the, or you can say lack of raising the fresh capital, and reason is that if there is more control, people will not go for the investment in that particular company because government say is higher. Okay. Our private sector will especially will not go in that particular scenario. So that is there. Now implication of the economy and the policy making. So fiscal stress, obviously if the government is increasing more on the CPSEs, that means government is spending more, and ultimately government has to go, they are having limited resources and they have to go for the borrowing. So fiscal stress will increase. Government rising budgetary dependence adds pressure on the government finances. Reduced private investment, limited private partnership in the infrastructure hinders the growth. And why it is limited? Because more government control means that private companies are less interested. Then coming to the next one, strategic policy and shift needed, that is increasing the alternative financial models like asset monetization, sovereign bonds, etc. that can help the companies over here, reducing capital mislocations to loss making CPSEs. Okay. So that is there, and ensuring greater financial autonomy for the CPSEs. If you are going for the you can say more and more autonomy, if you are giving more autonomy to them, that means that the private sector will also add come and invest in that particular arena. Other than that, if you are having the autonomy, there will be a fiscal prudence. Okay. That will be there, and that will solve the concern of the you can say CPSEs as of now. So this is about today's discussion, which we have talked. What is CPSE, Central Public Sector Enterprises, which is there, which I have already told you in the initial start of the session. Now for your own read, there is this article, that is delimitation of the constituencies, a primer on the exercise and the process. Now when we talk about the delimitation, I have already covered the delimitation earlier, and we have discussed that because of certain things, because 2021 is the last census which was supposed to be there, and after that in 2026 they used to go, they were supposed to go for, government were supposed to go for the delimitation. So you know that this census was delayed because of the COVID, and now we are talking about the delimitation, and that is why this particular topic is in news. You can go through this. UPSC has earlier asked that how many delimitation commission has been made by India. So that is something, the answer lies over here. So you can go through that. Okay. So that is about it. For your practice, there was a question which was given to you in the previous lecture, that was, where was the first full body meeting of the National Board of Wildlife has taken place in after 2012. So that is Gir National Park in Gujarat. Option B is your right answer. And for today's practice, the question is, which government body grants Navaratna status to CPSE's Ministry of Railways, Niti Aayog Department for Public Enterprises, and the Reserve Bank of India? So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you. Study well, and please don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.